Are these overnight cues going to be impacting our Indian markets? We have a team of research joining in with us to set you up for trade, tell you which are the important stocks to watch out for in today's trading session. First up, let me go across to Vivek, who's here to tell us what are we expecting in terms of market cues, what should we be watching out for in today's trading session. Good morning, Vivek.
Well, good morning. Going into Friday with largely mixed cues. Remember, last couple of trading sessions, what we've actually seen is GIFT Nifty indicating a positive start, but markets ending quite deeply in the red yesterday. In fact, now US markets, like you've been mentioning since the start of the show, actually ensuring that it's a very mixed setup that you're going into it. The Nasdaq managed to end with gains, but yesterday, one particular sector that stood out as far as the US market was concerned was the entire solar energy pack. This significantly fell. This on the back of the fact that the IRA that was proposed by erstwhile President Joe Biden now is under threat, and on the back of that, you may see some sentiment negative impact even across some of the Indian solar module makers. Now, along with that, have a look at the oil prices. Oil prices ended largely lower in trade. There are hopes that there could be higher production that could come across in the next month. Brent near $64.50 a barrel mark. Indian markets yesterday largely fell in tandem with the weak handover from both global as well as Asian markets. FMCG, IT, pharma were some of the top laggards. BS yesterday did take a sharp knock. This on account of the fact NSE, the SEBI is considering NSE's proposal to go ahead and shift its expiry date to Tuesday. What will react today to results? ITC, Sun Pharma will be in focus. Even other names like Container Corporation will remain in focus. And Sensex, remember, will have a new look very soon. You will see Bharat Electronics as coming into the Sensex as well. And lastly, Asian markets, GIFT Nifty, all indicating a mild gap up start for our markets.
Well, thank you so much for that, Vivek. Now over to Dia, who will now list out the stocks to watch out for in today's trading session. Good morning, Dia.
Well, good morning. Let's take a look at the stocks to keep your eye out on today. First, let's take a look at all of the earnings candidates. We have Sun Pharma reporting its Q4 numbers. Net profit has gone down by around 19% on a year-on-year basis, while EBITDA has seen an increase of around 22.4%. Margins have increased to 28.7% versus 25.3% in Q4 of last year. And remember, the company has also reported an exceptional loss of around 361.6 crores in this quarter. For ITC, the standalone revenue has gone up by around 9.5% over the previous year, but margins have contracted to 34.1% versus 37.1% in Q4 of last year. For Honasa Consumer, the net profit has seen a decline of almost 17.8% over the previous year, while the revenue has gone up by around 13%. Margins have also contracted to 5% versus 7% in Q4 of last year. For Gujarat State Petronet, net profit is sharply lower by 53.6% over the previous year. Even the EBITDA has gone down by around 41%, and margins have also contracted sharply to just 13.4% in this quarter versus 21.4% in Q4 of last year. For Metro Brands, net profit is down around 39% over the previous year. EBITDA, however, has gone up by around 24%, and margins have also expanded to around 30.7% versus 27.2% in Q4 of FY24 of FY25. Pardon me. For Grasim Industries, the net loss has narrowed to around 288 crores in this quarter versus a loss of around 441 crores in Q4 of last year. EBITDA has also gone down by around 58.1% over the previous year, and margins have also contracted by quite significantly to 2.5% versus 7.8% in Q4 of last year. For Concor, EBITDA has gone down by around 10%, while margins have come in at 23% versus 25.4% in Q4 of last year. And the board has also approved a bonus issue of 1 share for every 4 shares held of the company. For Ramco Cements, net profit and EBITDA have gone down by around 75% and 23% over the previous year, while margins have also contracted to 13.4% versus 15.6% in Q4 of last year. Shifting away from earnings, Adani Ports will be in focus. They are going to raise up to rupees 6,000 crores via the issuance of bonds. Ola Electric is also going to raise up to around rupees 1,700 crores via bonds. And TVS Motors has signed an MOU with OOR Cabs to deploy 500 electric 3-wheelers in Tamil Nadu. So keep your eye out on all of these stocks today.
Thank you so much for that, Riya. But let's go across to Mangalam, who's here to tell us what's going to be happening in the world of F&O. Mangalam, good morning.
Good morning. So yesterday was a bit of a sell-off that we saw in the Nifty, down almost 200 points. The Nifty Bank was lower as well, though we saw a smidge of a recovery in the last hour for the Nifty Bank, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. For the Nifty itself, a large part of that was on account of expiry. The street was working with an expiry range of around 24,600 to 24,800. It was at the lower end of the range. The GIFT Nifty is indicating a mild green start, but the most important thing that I'll be watching out for today would be the dollar rupee, because the second half of trade yesterday we saw a sharp weakness in the rupee as against the dollar moved a little over 86 as well, and that was telling you that there was some selling by the FIIs in the markets, and that's exactly what took place post-market. market as well. The data confirmed that 5,000 crore worth cash market selling. So earlier the FIs sold 10,000 crore, then bought about 2,200 crore and went back to the selling ways in the cash market in yesterday's session itself. But not just cash market, they sold about 3,100 crores in index futures as well, where they unwound 7,000 longs and added about 10,650 shorts as well. So the net, change was close to around 17,000 contracts. And that's reflected in their positioning as well. We were talking about how it was virtually unchanged at 42% and then moved to 37%. The FI longs have now dropped to 32%. So in just the last 5 sessions, it's dropped by 10 percentage points. And net contracts have more than doubled at negative 55,000 contracts. The important thing about Nifty Bank, it recovered from the lows yesterday and closed exactly at the 20-day moving average. So where the market goes today will be determined by where the Nifty Bank goes. 54,940 is where the Nifty Bank's 20-day moving average is and where the Nifty Bank is as well. For the Nifty, key support would be about 100 points lower from where we are, 24,524, where the 20-day moving average comes in. Early to talk about next week's options, but the way the street is positioned, 24,600 call and 24,700 call, tells you that there could be some supply over 24,850 to between 24,900, but strong support seen around 24,400 to 24,500. The one stock I'm watching out for today is Dixon. We've spoken about the possibility of it entering F&O band yesterday, and that's exactly what's happened.
Well, thank you so much for that, Mangalam.